want the best for them. No standing water means clean, good tasting, algae-free, mosquito-free, and virus-free water. No risk of electric shock, no risk of fire from faulty wiring. Cool water in the summer, warm water in the winter. Water delivered fresh from the water supply at 50 degrees year-round. Drinking Post water.
She cracks me up because she'll be watching a movie and you're like, she's on her phone. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Just let, okay, you're all coming. Yeah. I'll get back to you, right? There you go. There we go. You're the cool guy.
Thank you, sir.
Nice round there. Nice turnout.
I didn't know it was that delicate. Oh.
These horses are heads. Left, 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 left.
Oh. I thought I was missing a horse here. So.
Hi everyone, I'm Diana DeRosa. I'm from the Equus Film Festival, which is an annual event that takes place in New York City. And every year we have a number of tour stops throughout the United States and throughout the world. And right now we're in Camden, South Carolina. And I am being joined by two people that have been in films or produced films. And so I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I have Doug and I have Naomi. So Doug, let's start with you. Talk a little bit about your film.
Okay, thanks, Diana. My name is Douglas Maddox, and I'm from Maryland, the Baltimore area, if you're all familiar with that. I've had the privilege to make a few films and documentaries and some television over the years, and really wanted to make one in my hometown of Maryland. And so went looking for it, since Maryland is the horse country. I wanted to find something with a horse and a young girl. I've got a beautiful daughter named Elizabeth, and the lead is Taylor Lyons, and she plays a girl named Lizzie. And when I went looking for the script, really wanted to make a family movie because of the kids. The kids really wanted me to make something that they could enjoy watching and all together as a family night. And so I went looking for a script, and the script came from the United Kingdom, believe it or not. So Simon Parker, amazing writer, I took the script in, read it, we optioned it, and it was so similar to my life. It was amazing. This girl has to go live with her grandmother, and she's getting in a little trouble. And so when I was 17, I went to live with my grandmother because I was getting in a little trouble. And you know, grandmas have a way to kind of love you into shape, you know, and I think that's what this movie's about, you know, loving this granddaughter into shape, and gives this opportunity, as the granddaughter doesn't know, but the farm's going to go in foreclosure, but she falls in love with the grandmom's last pony, and it's a love affair that is just an enjoyable watch. And as you enjoy the movie, you start to realize that this girl has a lot more to her than just trouble. She is someone of promise and someone that can do more than she even thinks, and she ends up helping the grandmom get out of foreclosure. So it's a beautiful story about families working together.
Fabulous. I mean, I think in general people have so much more than you see on the cover. So that's a great concept behind it. Okay, now Naomi, it's your turn.
Thanks, Diane. I wish I had a script. I wish it wasn't mine, because I've never really done a film or documentary before, but everybody has a story, and my story was about 5 years ago. I was literally drowning in my job. I didn't know who I was. I was losing connection with everyone, including my husband. And my husband suggested I go and maybe try writing. I did it as a child. And so I thought, okay. And I did a lesson, and then I went, well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get lease a horse. Went into a barn. Luckily, I got to lease a horse. And then 3 months later, I was able to actually get that horse. And it was a great experience because I really didn't even know what a hoof was. So I was novice beyond. I mean, I didn't know anything. And the nice thing about it was that I really got to learn everything about a horse. But then went up into the mountains, which I'd love to do in Griffith Park, and I was with a friend, and my horse got spooked, and being on English, you don't have anything to hold on to. So my horse went literally straight down a mountain galloping, and there was a tight turn that not even a horse could go by. And I had one of two options, as I knew I was going to go off. I either fall off the cliff, which was literally straight down, way up in the mountain, straight down, or I slammed into the mountain. And I fell off, slammed into the mountain, and head first, and neck cracked, and my friend that went to see me, or went around, didn't see me, just thought, oh my gosh, she fell off the cliff. And I was actually in a ditch, and blood everywhere because I cracked my neck. And the horse, you saw the horse, Scout, come back for me, which horses don't. So the documentary was supposed to be just a short little thing of me, looking at him and going down the mountain and just really making a decision that, yes, I fell off that horse, but I am going to get back on that horse. And I literally talked to a scout and said, if you teach me how to ride, I'll never fall off with you again. And I was lucky because I never went to a doctor. And I should have been dead, if not paralyzed. So then it just goes from there, and we then bonded, and we then made it and put it forward and helped inner city children, and from there the story just evolved. 2.5 years. Who would have thought? That's my story.
Fabulous. All right, let's take it from a different direction now. Now you've told the story from the perspective of what people are going to see. Now let's talk a little bit about, okay, there's people out there that have either a story to tell or a fictional story that they want to portray. Talk about it from behind the scenes. How did you develop that story? How did you get the actors that were going to be in it? In your case, you're the principal person there. How did you get that stuff behind the scenes? What were the difficulties that you encountered along the way, and how did you manage to get the ultimate movie film produced?
Well, I think as a producer of films, you are getting into this business because you can wear multiple hats, accountant one day, filmmaker, within an hour, and then you put another hat on, you're a psychologist working with actors and storylines, and it's amazing how you are all things, and you really got to be on your toes. So I say that because that really fits my personality, and I really enjoy building things, and filmmaking, documentaries, you're building something that's creative, and I think that's the joy of the journey. And so I also enjoy business. So when I think about putting a project together, I think about counting the costs. Anything you do in a venture, you're counting costs. How do you make art that's affordable, that can reach an audience? So by the time I'm actually searching for scripts, coming up with the story concepts, I'm already thinking about distribution. That's just the way I work as a producer. And so we were very fortunate to develop, produce, and distribute this within 12 months. It typically takes at minimum 2 years, if not 5 years, and sometimes some of the bigger Hollywood films can take up to 10, 15 years, I've heard, to get financing to put this whole thing together. Planets have to align when you're making a movie. I always congratulate anyone that makes a movie, a documentary, a TV show, a feature film, a short. They are miracles. There are many, many, many miracles that take place to make these things. And so from the beginning, I think about marketing. I think about an audience. And so that's why I love the Equus Film Festival, because it's all about the horse, And to be honored in this festival just helps our little film find an audience. And so you need an audience for this kind of a creative venture. If you don't have an audience, great. I have a piece of cardboard here and plastic, and that's about as far as it goes. But when you find your audience and you find that niche, then there's return on investment, and then you can make more films. We're in it for the long haul. 27 years as a producer so far in my career, 15 years in doing features and documentaries. And so hopefully that answers your question. I can share more about what I've experienced in my life, but as a businessman, as a creative producer and a director. So
Yeah, actually, I'm going to have you talk a little bit more. Talk about how you decided who were going to be the actors in the film. What about the wranglers and people taking care of the horses? Some of that behind-the-scenes stuff. I mean, how do you actually get those people that are going to be part of your film?
Well, Stephanie Smith is an amazing actress, but she actually plays a lot of roles. In independent films, all hands in, everybody. You know, you gotta make it work. And when I auditioned her for the mother of Lizzie, on her resume it said, hey, I've done some theater work and some props and some, you know, behind the scenes things. And I said, oh, hey, I might give you a call. If the acting gig doesn't work and you don't fit the role, maybe I can bring you on as crew. And she said, absolutely love to. And so she went above and beyond the call of duty. And when she got the role, I said, you know, the role was only going to take like 3 or 4 days, but you can be on set the entire time as set designer. And she says, I'm hired. I was like, fantastic. So what else do you need? And this is the kind of people you need to work with in independent filmmaking. And so she said, hey, have you found the pony? And I said, do you have someone in mind? Ferris is the pony. She brought Ferris up from Virginia, and it just takes, it's important to take this time to find out that our set designer is our horse wrangler. Isn't that amazing? And she did a fantastic job. And she's the mom of Lizzie that only played, you know, three days of acting, you know. But so she was multiple. I played multiple roles. I was the producer and the director, and I also did the casting. I was the casting agent. So I've done enough of the films to understand, you know, what a good actor, actress would be. And we actually had a fantastic opportunity to get these amazing actors involved. Francine Locke, Ken Arnold, Alan Williamson, Taylor Lyons, of course Stephanie, and Warren Watson, and some others. If you go on IMDb and look at their resumes, they're working actors. I audition people, I take video auditions. We do this point A all the way to Z. We follow the training that I've received as a film major, and we go through every step of the way to make sure the best quality. I also went to Los Angeles and met with some previous managers of actors I've worked with in the past and some casting agents, and you know, kind of came through that saying, you know, it looks like I'm going to be the casting agent on this one, just because most casting agents need a little bit bigger budget. We didn't have the big budget to bring them on. And I was able to make some offers to some wonderful actresses, Jessica Lange and Linda Carter and some other folks, and we're just so happy to have Francine chosen as the grandmother. And so that's really, you've got to do your due diligence. And so when I say a year, it literally was a year of work, going and traveling to Nashville and Los Angeles and doing casting out of our offices right in Baltimore. I mean, we have a little micro studio and our, you know, small agency right there in Towson, Maryland. So it's been fun. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, that's great. You know, I think a couple of things that you mentioned I think are really important, and that's that you need to think ahead. So many times, you know, being with the Equus Film Festival, what you discover is that people think about certain things after the film is done. That's when they start to think about, you know, you need things like pictures that are taken during the film, because if you want to promote it afterwards, you want good pictures of the actors in action. It's hard to get that after the film's over. You need to think about marketing. You need to think about all of those different things. And my background also, I worked for Christopher Reeve for 8 years, so I dealt with him doing the casting, and I'm an actress myself, so I know about the audition process and all of that. There is so much more involved behind the scenes and going forward to a film that you really, you know, need to address before you even get into it. Now, the interesting thing is that, Naomi, your story is going to be very different, because yours is really a documentary about you. So the same thing, you go into how it all developed, the behind the scenes, what you learned, you know, how you ended up finding the people that directed it and produced it and all of that.
Well, the first thing I can say is the only thing Doug and I have in common is Los Angeles. So, but it was different for me because I literally had a story that so many people said, you must tell this story. And it was the year of the horse, and I thought, okay, and I went to a friend who happened to be in the industry, And I said, what do you think? And thank goodness, she then found the right people. She said, no, you got to do this, and let's do it right. And she took control, and which really was a great thing for a novice. And again, not knowing anything about the industry, anything, it was one where I took I followed the lead of others, and I let them do what they did best. And so I had my producer, or my friend, and she found Andy and Sarah Neitzer, and they were the directors and editors and the writers, and it was really important because I let them take the lead, and I just told my story. And I've always said, if you have the right people, you know, your story will be told. You have the wrong people, it will never be heard. So it was one where, and you're right, it took 2.5 years. The other side of that is, A, the casting was me, and B, I said I was going to pay for it, so I was the executive producer, and I never realized how much money it took. And my husband is still, you know, I'm wondering when he'll start talking to me again. But it was, you know, and then I had the important people in my life that changed me, and I had my mom, and I had my my friend that always told me, you know, don't give up. If you know, if you want to write English, because everybody wanted me to write Western, and you know, they were afraid for me, and I had the people that I cared about in the documentary, and I just really wanted their stories to incorporate in my story, and it evolved, and that's really I wish I knew what the beginning was, because if I would have known how much it was, I think I would have thought twice on that one. So I'm taking the opposite of the again of the spectrum. I'm on the other side, and but I am so grateful. Again, not having children, I did the documentary selfishly because I wanted to have what my story was, which was my horse and myself, and how he changed me, or actually he saved me, I should say, and I saved him, and now we save others and pay it forward. So I can't tell you how many times I've had a bad day being a pharmaceutical rep, driving, you know, in the traffic and bumper to bumper, and I go home and I watch Scout's Honor because it brings back the amazing memory of 2.5 years that I never thought. Who would have thought a little story would get this kind of attention?
I actually want you to talk a little bit more about one thing that you mentioned, and that's the costs. Where are those costs? What are they? I mean, break them down a little bit. You know, what is it that you're actually paying for, and why is it so expensive?
Okay, well, we can say everything. So I paid basically Andy and Sarah Neitzer, and they brought the camera people involved. And we had, I think they call a runner or somebody that goes and gets the PA. And I was told who to pay. And then throughout the film, we also had equine therapy, and so I paid for that. I paid for all lodging. I paid for all food. I paid for everybody's, you know, salary when they were doing the film. So I literally paid for just from beginning to end, to include when I was at the Equestrian Center, and I paid $300 or $500 or $1,000 to be able to use, you know, their facilities, and it just went on and on. But there are so many different aspects to, you know, actually doing a documentary, that I truly believe you let others that know what they're doing take over. And again, the important part was I had to find the money and make it work. And I did. And I, you know, took on extra jobs. I did many things in order to make it happen. But, you know, again, when you believe in something, don't give up, because it doesn't matter if you don't even have the money.
If you want it to happen, you can make it happen.
Right? That's correct. And I made it happen. Thank goodness.
All right, right, Doug, I want to go back into the film a little bit, and I want you to tell me in your mind what you felt the most poignant moment was in that film, and why.
It's so funny because when you make a film, you're talking the actual production days, you are not just going from the beginning of the film to the end of the film, like maybe a reality TV show or something. You are mixing it up and making sure schedules with actors work well, the horses' timing's right, and the farm, you know, we had the farm for a certain number of days, we had the house for a certain number of days, and so we kind of mixed it all up. And so our first day was the last day of the shoot, and our last day was the first day of the film. So it kind of makes you a little, you know, crazy a little bit. You're thinking, okay, let's keep this in order. So it's hard to say what my favorite one was, but I think, you know, the first day and the last day. But I actually, you know, it really was the first day. You know, the first day when we're filming is the way I have to speak about it. Not necessarily in the actual film, but to see people come around a vision and to see so much energy and love and creativity poured out on a project that everyone showed up on time. We start and cameras roll, lights on. It's that excitement. Now, when the last day occurred, which was the first shot of the film, the opening, it's this beautiful silhouette. I was working with our storyboard artist, Jackson, and he had this silhouette idea, and we made that happen. Amazing shot coming in from the barn, and you're left in a mystery, like, why is this lady taking out her horse? What are we going to be introduced to? What's going to happen? So creating that mystery, and from a storyboard conception to an actual live shot is thrilling. I think, you know, every time as a director, I was looking at the monitor, and then I peer over the monitor and I'm seeing the actors. I'm like, I'm living a dream. This is so cool. These actors are actually saying the words on my script in front of me, and I'm watching a movie while they're acting. And when you see talent like that, when they're starting to tear up, like we did a cross shot, no emotion from, you know, they're just feeding lines. As soon as the camera goes, whoa, there's the emotion, and the tears were coming, and I'm like, wow, how can they do that? It's amazing. That's why I do what I do and they do what they do. You know, they're professional actors, and I'm really thrilled. So, you know, it's thrilling to work on films, and you know, there is no one favorite scene per se, because every one of those clips, scenes, shots, everything that you see is, you put such care and attention into every single scene.
You know, I think that's kind of interesting, you know, as when I am acting and you're doing a different part of the different scene, you're thinking when you watch a movie that everything's happening and they're just capturing the moments. No, that's the scene that they're capturing. They want you to be at this spot doing whatever it is that you're doing, and there's no beginning or end. That's the spot. So it is, nothing goes consecutively. It can be shot at the beginning or end or wherever. So that's an important thing.
I would like to add, our motto with DBM Communications, we bring your creative vision to life. And that's really our motto in life. You know, we love to bring these creative visions to life. You know, if we're working for a company, we're working on the film, the documentary. And so our slogan for DBM Films is entertain, educate, inspire. And so when you put those together, that's a thrilling combination, because we're out there to help and reach people and, you know, change society for good, really trying to help motivate people to see some good in life instead of a lot that we see that's not so good in life on media and films. So we're really, you know, small, little bits at a time, you know, putting it out there and seeing how people receive it. But I talked to our creative team. It was amazing. All right, our DP, his name is Doug, so don't get confused. Doug squared on set. And we had Jackson, who's my first AD, but he also, again, independent, was hired for our editing. And I wanted to do that because I really believe in editors on the set. Really, you need to have editors there. And then myself. And so the three of us would constantly think about how we're going to manage each of these scenes.
The rural American lifestyle. It's how we work, and it's how we play. It's how we learn and how we enjoy the finer things in life. How we take care of our animals and tend to the land. It's a way of life. Has been for hundreds of years. Now there's a whole new way for rural America to watch TV.